Alright, in this video I'm going inside Arasaka Tower. It's featured in a couple missions, including the flashback ones where you play as Johnny Silverhand. And yes, this is the same tower used in those missions, which may come as a bit of a surprise. The database entry states that the building is 2,034 feet tall, or 620 meters. And even looking at the damn thing, it seems like it's the biggest building in the game. Maybe in the next video we'll rank the tallest buildings. We're going to be starting at the bottom, which is below ground level. This area is known as Netrun Operations Control and is likely the most substantial floor of the building. It is featured in all endings where you raid Arasaka HQ, at least in some capacity. In the Nomad ending, you explore more of the floor since you break into the building through an underground tunnel. That tunnel actually does connect to the construction site in the Badlands, although at some point it loses lighting and prop detailing. The tunnel connects to a floor with a bunch of seismic dampening devices, which are apparently used to protect the building from earthquakes. This is technically below the Netrunner Operations floor, so it's a separate unmarked level. Since this floor is pretty dense, I'm gonna attempt to map it out here. I'm plotting this based on the direction I was facing on the map when entering these rooms. In Don't Fear the Reaper and the Rogue ending, you eventually take an elevator down to this level. Those are located at the center of the building, but from an overhead perspective, the rest of the floor is below it. The first area south of the elevators is a large room with net running chairs. We'll call this the net running room. This is the room where you plug an alt during Don't Fear the Reaper. To the right of this room is something like a server room. It's where you fight Smasher during most of the endings. To the right of the server room is the Mikoshi room. Mikoshi unfortunately isn't rendered outside of the ending, so this is just an empty area. To the left of the net running room is a hallway that wraps around the corner. This is primarily seen during the Nomad ending. This hallway connects to a room that appears to be some kind of manufacturing lab. Somewhere in that room is where you climb up from the seismic dampening floor. This may still be very confusing, but hopefully it gives you a better idea of the layout. Next up, at the ground level, we have the lobby. The lobby can be seen slightly from the outside at all times, but is notably present in the Corpo Prologue mission as well as the Don't Fear the Reaper ending. V begins the assault literally through the front gates. The lobby has two sets of elevators, but it appears only the ones closer to the entrance are used in missions. The one to the left is used during the Corpo Prologue to head up to counter intel, and the one in the middle is used during Don't Fear the Reaper to head down to Netrun Operations. The next stop is the Counter Intel Division, which is floor 33. This area is experienced as part of the Corpo Prologue mission. You have V's office, Jenkins' office, some conference rooms, and an AV hangar. There's a section of the tower made for the second flashback mission Never Fade Away where Johnny attempts to rescue Alt. It apparently also takes place on the Counter Intel floor, although this is an entirely different slice of playable space. It's also rendered higher in the building. Further up the building is a large space consisting of multiple floors known as the Lower Atrium. This is accessed during the Rogue ending when you use the rocket boots to descend down the building. Aside from the balconies, there isn't much to look at, but there appears to be large office spaces hidden behind the giant lockdown signs. Next, at level 76, is the jungle. Why Arasaka designed a jungle environment inside the building is beyond me, but nevertheless you either crash into it during the Rogue ending or attend a meeting with the Arasaka board members during the Hanako ending. During the Rogue ending, you take the elevator from the jungle down to the lower atrium. In Hanako's ending, you take an elevator up to the jungle from Mikoshi. At floor 110, we have the upper atrium. This is a different set of floors that are accessed during the Hanako ending while V is en route to confront Yorinobu. Security is tighter in this area as it is used by higher ranking members of the Corp. It's more detailed than the lower atrium, featuring several small offices and meeting rooms. At level 134 and 135 are a set of unlisted executive levels reserved exclusively for higher members of the Corp, such as the family members. This is where you are brought during the Hanako ending, where you land in the building via AV. She takes you to Saburo's office, which is here. Hanako also uses a secret elevator that takes you all the way down into Mikoshi. At level 140, which per the lore should be the top floor of the building, is the CEO level. As it is used by Arasaka CEO, this is the most secure floor of Arasaka Tower. During the Hanako ending, you get to fight Atom Smasher here instead of down on the Netrunner Ops floor. The CEO office where you confront Yorinobu actually has a window that you can see through from the outside. Now, despite the CEO level being the top, before we get to the roof, there's technically one more area that's rendered even higher in the building. In the first Johnny flashback mission where Johnny bombs Arasaka Tower in 2023, you run through the office to upload a virus. Then he gets bisected by Atom Smasher. But this office isn't actually the same as the one that Hanako walks you through during her ending. There are two copies of Saburo's office rendered near the top of the building. The Hanako one is on the right side of the building and is positioned above Mikoshi. The Johnny one is positioned on the left side of the building and connects to the roof. All this results in a very cluttered and confusing upper area of the tower. And finally, we have the roof, which actually maintains all the destruction detailing from the beginning of the first flashback mission. It's actually a pretty small roof, but in terms of playable areas in the game, I think this has to be the highest point in all of Night City. Strangely, there's an elevator panel high above the roof. I couldn't get the elevator to activate, but there appears to be one lined up to ascend to that point. It was probably used during development. That concludes everything concerning playable areas of the building. Before we get out of here, there's a few more locations I want to mention that aren't physically present. To start, there's apparently some parking levels between the lobby and Netrun Operations. You can find a few elevators in the lobby denoting this, but there isn't actually anything spawned there. The CEO room has two elevators on each side leading to a place called the Medical Center. During the Hanako ending, V actually does enter this elevator alongside Anders Hellman, so it seems like the two of them were headed to the medical center, but V blacks out on the way. The elevator goes down about one level into the abyss, so it's unknown what floor the medical center would be, but there is one somewhere in the building. From Cyberpunk Edgerunners, we know that David was once enrolled in Arasaka Academy, which is supposed to be located in the building somewhere. Lastly, there are likely other floors dedicated to the other departments of the corporation, such as legal, finance, and security. There are also technically areas outside of the building, such as the memorial that resides where the original building used to be. Also, there's a room rendered deep under the building I covered in an Out of Bounds video where Johnny remembers getting soul killed. That's not actually where it takes place, but it is where it's rendered. And that's about it for this breakdown of Arasaka Tower. Hopefully you found this video interesting, and as always, if you have any other locations you'd like to see me cover, feel free to let me know in the comments below. That does it for this video. Thanks for watching.